Sooner or later, every RVer has to hit the dump station.
No, I did not wear gloves, but I did wash my hands real well right now. Which, by the way, there's a bit of trash here. Some people left a mess before me. Don't do that.
I'm riding in my RV, wherever I want to be, 'cause I'm free in my RV.
Hello everybody, I'm going to make me a little breakfast here. Let me check the expiration because January, so we're fine. Just gonna cut it into little pieces so it fits in our little skillet here. Oh, before we continue, if you ever do this in an RV, I mean, it's not the safest thing, but disable your fire alarm because it will go off. Just remember to re-enable it after you eat. Yeah, this is done. It's diced onions and peppers, so it's like a sofrito mix, and it works well. I like to use it a lot on my cooking. I want to put some of those there, you know. So right now in the morning here in the RV, I don't feel like dicing onions and dicing peppers, and a little garlic would have been good though. Put a little bit of salt on both the egg and the sofrito. I'm gonna put some paprika because I put paprika on everything. Whoops, maybe too much. And we're gonna put some pepper here and some pepper on the egg. And we're gonna keep it simple. I don't think I'm gonna put too much more. Maybe I'll add a slice of ham and a slice of cheese because I'm gonna put this like in a wrap. And here we go. That's not good. Well, it's gonna be more like a scrambled egg more than an omelette in this case. Which is totally fine. But two slices. Let it melt there. There. I'm gonna put my mission tortilla right here, and then I'm gonna stick my. I mean, that's a little too much for this, but we'll make it work somehow. There you go. Breakfast of champions. Well, I finally got to test out my WiFiRanger and it works. It's pulling a signal from where there's barely no signal. So that's great. By the way, aside from some of the trash people left at the dump station, this has to be by far top 10, one of my favorite campgrounds.
Here we are, going down that 25% grade, and I'm still having a bit of trouble finding the sweet spot with the engine braking. But I will at some point. Here we are, back by Dahlonega, although this time we're not gonna do any sightseeing. I'm coming to Walmart to resupply. I needed some bubble envelopes to mail my CDs, among other things. That's a good looking rig, isn't it? And here's Lake Zwerner as we continue north towards Vogel State Park. It's the Chatuge National Forest.
You've arrived.
Wow, this is nice. And here's my pull-through site.
Well, here I am at Vogel State Park. This game highly recommended. At some point, I don't know by whom, don't remember, but it's very nice. It's here on the top of this mountain. The campground is a little crowded, not a whole lot of privacy, but that is fine. I'm going to explore the area a little bit. Unfortunately, I'm only for one night here.
Since it is still early, first let's go to Brasstown Bald, Georgia's tallest mountain. There's an RV park. It is such a beautiful drive. There it is. That's where we're going. Since today it is Thanksgiving, there is no one at the gate, so it is basically free. It does cost normally $5, and they do have a shuttle that goes to the top, but today we are basically on our own, so we're gonna have to hike all the way up there. There's the Summit Trail. It is just a little over half a mile, but it is up and up and up. About 400 feet elevation gain.
I'm telling you, if I start doing this more often, I'll be in great shape in no time. Oh, this guy said, joking of course, that we only got 5 miles left. Whew. I'm not used to the altitude and the uphill. And the fact that I did a Michelotta Falls yesterday, I'm a little sore. I'm still a little sore from Michelotta. I want to take a break right here. Well, there's some people up there, so maybe we're not so close to the top after all. Alright, one more break is needed. Almost there, I think. This climb actually kind of reminds me of Klingman's Dome. Okay, this is the highway. So I guess you can come that way, or you can continue on these stairs. I'm gonna do the stairs. Oh yeah, we made it. Brasstown Bald. Oh, there is an elevator. They should have told me that. Alright, just kidding, let's go up.
Since we are sort of trespassing here, the observation tower and the bathrooms, they're all closed.
Unfortunately, everything is closed today because of the holiday. It's 55 degrees almost.
We are here on our own, unsupervised. Let's go to the upper platform.
We've made it to the top.
Breathtaking views from up here.
That's where we parked, down there.
And here we are, looking towards the south.
Brasstown Bald is closed today, so we hiked out from there. Have to walk.
I wonder if there's any way to get up there. We're just looking south.
How are things in Jacksonville? Warm and sunny? It's a little breezy here, but believe it or not, the sun is keeping it warm, so I think it's in the 50s.
Well, thank you very much for that weather report, lady on the phone. Anyway, here we are looking towards the north.
Well, we made it to the top, highest point in the state of Georgia. In fact, most of what we see back there is North Carolina. Here's looking to the west.
It almost looks like the Smoky Mountains from this angle, and actually, it is kind of the southern tip of the mountain range, right? There's Lake Chatuge in the distance, which actually straddles both Georgia and North Carolina. It is so beautiful, with the Smokies in the distance.
Well, what goes up must go down. So must we. Well, they say it's supposed to be easier on the way down. Let's see if it's true. Well, that was totally worth it, the steep climb. If I do this at least once a week, I'll get in a tremendous shape. Look at that view. It's almost easier if you jog it down a little bit. I think we're almost there. All the way down. Okay, let's go. Let's hop on the chameleon. You see, it kind of looks kind of green now. And as we move to the back, it starts to look darker and darker. Yeah, it's having a gray and green day. Sometimes it looks blue.
Well, we are back at Vogel State Park, and we might have time for another hike. Okay, I am officially impressed. This place is gorgeous. I cannot just stay one night here, right? By the way, this park is huge, but we're just going to do the Tralita Lake Trail here, which goes around the lake, and there's a waterfall too. Isn't this gorgeous? I had no idea.
Well, I was going to start heading out west, a little further west tomorrow, but I've decided to stay in this area a little longer. The city is beautiful out here. supposed to be a waterfall on the other side of the lake. I think I'm starting to hear water, so we must be getting close.
I must hurry. The sun is about to set behind that mountain. And there it is. The sun is finally setting.
The waterfalls, even if we're running out of light here real quick.
Yes, this is a short side trail here that leads to the waterfall's viewpoint.
And here we are.
Well, yeah, not the most impressive waterfalls I've ever seen, but still, not bad. Pretty cool.
Kind of anticlimactic after seeing Amicalola Falls yesterday, but still pretty cool. Now I must go back to the campground before it gets any darker. It's on the other side of the lake, over there.
What a difference, huh? Between magic hour a couple of minutes ago and now.
It is now time for a Traveling Robert RV cooking show. Coming to you today from Vogel State Park here in northern Georgia. Beautiful place. Let's make sure nothing falls off here. No, perfect. So we're gonna start by chopping some onions and garlic and why do I spend money on lighting equipment, huh? Now we have light. They said there were bears in the vicinity. When the bears smell this, they're gonna come straight to the campground.
By the way, I'm making ground beef, my own recipe of Cuban-style picadillo, which the recipe actually changes slightly every time I make it, so let's call it Robert-style picadillo.
This is a beautiful celery. Oh, yeah. They're sweet peppers, they're not hot. I'll put a little more salt because we have a lot of potato. I'm gonna put some pepper. I'm gonna put some paprika. And I prefer the smoked paprika, but this is what they had at Publix. So now we're gonna add some cumin. You see, I don't measure, I just add it. We were joking about it a couple of days ago with my Cuban family here in Georgia. And you know, we Cubans have our own measurements, you know. We're measuring ounces or teaspoons. It is a ching or a chorrito or a ting or you know. Okay, this is the secret ingredients, and this is cooking. This is dry cooking wine. Here's what gives it a special flavor. Oh, I overdid it. But I do tend to put a lot of it, and I'm gonna show you now. Especially for this type of dish, I try to cover everything with it. Trying to cover everything with that cooking wine. And now we're gonna add the meat, and this ground beef is still it's incredible. It's still kind of frozen, and I took it out of the freezer days ago. But I'm just gonna put it in there and cover it and see if it defrosts. You see the core in the middle is still frozen, but I'm being able to start, you know, shaving off. And of course we do need some, we have some, yes, here. We then need some tomato sauce. I like this green wise marinara, it's alright. I'm not gonna do the whole jar, just a little bit, just to give it that some manzanilla olives.
I can never find anything up here.
Wait, well, maybe I left the raisins in Miami. I'm gonna add a little bit of sriracha just for kicks. Although, in the classic sense, Cuban food would never have this. Yeah, we still have some of that meat right in the middle of that that has not thawed. Oh, while we wait, when I was at Walmart, I bought a bottle of wine because, you know, gotta celebrate each day. Each day is a gift, and we're here at this idyllic place, and I'm able to take you with me. Not the most environmentally friendly thing to do, but plastic cups are the way to go when you're in an RV. Although I want to get me some nice reusable, non-breakable wine glasses. But anyways, cheers, salud. Let me show you this. There you go, all those flavors mixing together. I wish you were here to smell it. This is actually harder than it looks, holding this camera and cooking at the same time. Now let's see if those potatoes are done. If those potatoes are done, this meal is ready to eat. And most people will eat it with white rice. I'm just gonna eat it by itself as is. It's really good. I turned off that light. It looks more natural this way. The potatoes still need a couple of minutes, but that sauce is like, Let's eat. It's too hot. Well, it is morning here at Vogel State Park, so good morning. Oh, check it out, these people have a hammock. Very nice. Very quiet. Slept well last night. And over here, it's the tent section. You see some people, they have started fires because it's a chilly morning. It's in the 30s. And down here we have a little creek. I'm gonna go to Blairsville. I have to mail some CDs, buy some propane, and continue exploring the area.
All right, let's head towards Blairsville. Here we are at downtown Blairsville, just passing through right now. We'll be back later. came to Home Depot to see if I could get some propane, but it is Black Friday and everybody everywhere is going nuts. It almost feels like Miami. People are still nice though, but customers are hyper and abundant, and employees are half asleep, so I'll get my propane later. Let's check out Blairsville. This building here at the center of the traffic circle is the Union County Historical Courthouse, which dates back to 1899, and nowadays it is a museum. Let's walk around downtown here a little bit. It is very cold here this morning. Oh, you know what? I could really use a hot coffee right now.
I'm gonna have the rest of my coffee outside here. Going around the downtown area here, the historic courthouse back there. And I tried to get propane today, but everywhere was kind of crazy. It is Black Friday after all, and it was like the employees were on slow-mo, and the customers were on fast motion. So I can hold it without propane for one more day. So I'm gonna wait till tomorrow and get propane. Very cute, quaint, small little downtown here. A lot of people, not a lot of people, but some people had recommended I come to Blairsville and check it out. And the weather is changing. It's pretty breezy this morning, and it's barely reaching 40 degrees Fahrenheit. So it feels pretty cold. So this coffee is very nice right now. By the way, that coffee shop was packed. So many people. I guess it is the thing, and the blueberry muffins were one of the top items, but I'm gonna have my lunch very soon in the RV.
Why am I going back to the RV, you might ask? Well, I decided to stay one extra day, but in order to do that, I must move sites. So let's get that over with and continue exploring after. Quick dump? Because why not, right? The sudden deterioration of the weather kind of makes me question my decision to stay an extra day, but hey, at least it's not raining, right? Just cloudy and cold and gray. Quick visit to the office here to do my checkout and check-in. And now, on to my new site. That's not my site. Here's my new site, but I'll show it to you later.
Well, off we go.
Beautiful drive here as we go north, or northeast rather. I'm going to take a break here by the college town of Young Harris, and I don't see any flight restrictions on my app, so let's do a quick drone flight here. Our next stop Hiawassee on the shores of Lake Chatuge. Here we are, Hiawassee. Let's see what it looks like from the air. Let's continue. Might as well go all the way into North Carolina since we are so close.
Made it to North Carolina.
How about another quick flight here so I can show you Lake Chatuge? I actually think that tall mountain towards the middle, that's Brasstown Bald, where we were yesterday. Okay, there is one more thing I want to do today. High Shoals Falls. So let's do it!
Alright, 33 minutes to High Shoals Falls. Let's do it. This was beautiful.
And back in Georgia we are. Is that Brasstown Bald back there? Yep, that is definitely Brasstown Bald. Very cool to see it all the way from down here.
Riding my RV.
This road to the waterfalls is not very well marked, almost as if they want to deter you from doing this. So when Google sent me through this dirt road, I was like, what have I gotten myself into? We even have to cross this little creek here. Alright, let's see where this leads.
Apparently, this is it. We'll look for the green blazes. info here. Some folks just came back and said that the trail was okay, so I'm gonna go for it and assume that sign is outdated.
Well, at least I am not completely by myself.
Oh, this is the bridge that is broken.
Yep, this is what the sign was warning about. I've got to attempt to cross it, and I'll confess, I've never done this before.
I'll just cross the river through there. Don't tell my mom.
It's really a shame I couldn't show you my river crossing on camera.
This waterfall's better be good.
Yep, both my hands were full while crossing the river, holding two big sticks, and I forgot to bring my head or my chest mount for the camera. But trust me, it was quite an adventure.
Okay, here we go.
This is the first waterfall, but another hiker told me that there is a larger one further down, so let's continue.
They said there was another waterfall further down, so let's go to that one. Freaky. I'm going back. It's gonna be a rough hike going back. It's almost up the whole way. And even though the trail looks kind of desolate, there's a bunch of people going back and forth, so I don't feel that isolated, if you will. Yay! Cross the river again. I wish I could have shown you guys, but my hands were busy. Busy. Okay, let's find the trail again. Almost there. Well, I'm sweating in 40-degree weather, so that tells you something. Well, it's getting kind of dark. I hope I'm close to the trailhead. Must be one of the vehicles parked at the trailhead. You see it? We made it. Well, that was a trail. 1.2 miles, one way. Is that true? Let's see. Well, yeah. 1.2 miles. It took me half an hour to get back.
Well, it is Friday night, which means I have to do my customary live stream on YouTube. Which means I have to find a spot with good internet, and I think downtown Blairsville is going to be it.
Can you see me? I'll be the first to admit this was a little more hardcore than I expected. But you know what? You have to hike your own hike in the end. And the only thing, it got dark earlier than I expected.
Head southwest on Indian Grave Gap Road toward Georgia 17 North, Georgia 75 North.
It is 5:10. Sunset isn't supposed to be until like 5:30, so yeah, definitely gonna have to do the live video today with this little light here. The idea is to do it from Blairsville. Sounds like the Blair Witch Project. I'll make it there in about half an hour. Set up the internet, hopefully. We'll get a good signal. Enjoy the ride. Maybe I should slow down. In any case, I'm glad I have a truck. Okay, here we go. Non-stop. Made it.
I'm going to do
my live video here. Hopefully there's enough light. I'm at downtown Blairsville. We'll see. This is gonna be interesting.
Good morning from Vogel State Park.
Let's head down to the creek. These sites down here are nice because you have the creek right behind your site. And there's Minitini.
Did I mention how much I love this vegetation here in northern Georgia? I'm kind of saying goodbye because today we're going to Alabama. I drove just outside the park so I could do a quick drone flight.
There's that waterfall from yesterday, no, the day before yesterday.
It actually looks more impressive from out here from the road than from inside the park. It is time to go. There is a long line at the dump station, but eventually, someone figured out that there is a second dump station on the other side.
We're on our way to Alabama. And for the first time in my life, I'm gonna spend more than a few hours in Alabama, which is the idea, you know, to earn that sticker in my map back there.
It is a beautiful drive, but I'm going to show you all that and more on the next video.